Good evening, I'm Meryl Friend and welcome to News Geelong on this cold, wet and windy Friday the 13th of August. Tonight we discover the work of the Ardoc Youth Foundation, which is wanting to make education a reality for those who are disadvantaged. Volunteers are an integral part of their work and you can find out how to help. And of course, all the latest news in local Geelong sport with Nathan Curry. We hear from the Geelong Cats senior coach, Mark Palmer-Thompson, a basketball profile with Dominic Friend, and speak with Brad Martin from the Bellpost Hill Football Club, and look at the winter weekend weather forecast with Lani Salathiel. But first, just 15 minutes from Geelong, Avalon Airport was once the location for jet pilot training and military and commercial refurbishment and maintenance, and of course the biannual International Air Show. Now it's a thriving domestic airport, flying Jetstar and later in the year Tiger Airlines, but news of expansion to a full international airport led Ian Nichols to speak with the federal member for Corio, Richard Marles.
Geelong is out at Avalon Airport today. It's a red letter day. A significant announcement has been made by the Federal Minister for Financial Services, Chris Bowen, saying that the federal government, if it's re-elected, the Gillard government, will give wholehearted support in principle to making this into a full-blown international airport. We already know that Tiger Airlines will be starting up here later this year, giving the whole concept a kick-start. We're talking with the federal member for Corio, Richard Marles. Now, this commitment in principle from the federal government to bring it up to international standard is going to just take us in that next step forward.
That's right. I mean, what you've got with the decision by Tiger earlier in the year to have flights coming out of Avalon, the decision today of the federal government to support Avalon and its move to become an international airport really represents a huge leap forward for this airport during 2010. And I think we will look back on this year in the future and say that this is the year that, excuse the pun, that Avalon took off. And that's a great thing for the Geelong people and the Geelong community because, as I say, there'll be thousands of jobs based at this place.
And I noticed in your introductory remarks you claimed, and rightly so, that this would be probably the biggest announcement since the Alcoa announcement here for Geelong.
Well, I think if you think about it in terms of there being 1,000 people who work out at Point Henry at the Alcoa smelter and the rolled products plant there, and you then look here at the future potential of employment for this place, emanating out of the decision of Tiger to be based here and the decision for the airport to go international, it's absolutely fair to say that this year and Avalon is as big a moment in the economic history of Geelong as we've seen since Alcoa came to Geelong back in the 60s. That is very much a red letter day, and it's very exciting for Avalon and for Linfox, and we really want to congratulate them. It's a very proud day for Darren and I, as it is for John Eyre and the State Member for Lara, all of whom have been working hard to make sure this happens.
At Avalon Airport, this is Ian Nichols for News Geelong.
Thank you, Ian. It'd be wonderful to have an international airport on our doorstep. Now, the Geelong Performing Arts Centre was overflowing with excited and talented youngsters all week as the Geelong Schools Music and Movement Festival celebrated its 63rd year. Students from more than 37 primary schools throughout the Geelong region came together to sing, dance and play music upon the Playhouse stage for friends and families and fellow students. Takia Beard was in attendance.
At the GPAC Performing Arts Centre at the Geelong Schools Movement and Music Festival.
Oh, this is probably the longest established children's festival in Australia. We haven't found anywhere else. It's been going for over 62 years. So clearly it was going before GPAC was built in the old Plaza Theatre. So it's been something that if you grow up in the region you are part of. And you can do it over the number of years when you're at school because we've got the primary school kids in as well as secondary school kids. Yeah.
So where do the schools come from? Whereabouts?
They've come from all over. We had some kids down from Ballarat even yesterday. So yes, up from Mary's Inlet, yes, right across the region. Yeah.
And how many schools have you had perform?
We've had 35 schools this year and about 2,000 kids are participating in it.
And how great is it to have the new facility to be able to perform in?
Oh well, it's really comfortable for everybody and it's nice and warm and cosy in there on a very, very cold day. So it's great fun. Yeah.
So where are you guys from?
Anglesey Primary School.
What are you performing today?
We're doing a performance on Greek's Lightning.
Are you a bit nervous?
Yeah.
Got the jitters a bit. And how many people are there in your group that are performing?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it's about 40 or so.
Wow. So how many hours of practice has it taken you to get to where you are today?
We started at term 2, halfway through the year. So, yeah.
And what sort of have your teachers been doing to help you out?
They've just been letting us practice as long as we like and giving us the music, and we do it at lunchtimes and recess, and just giving us as much time as we can to do it.
Takia Beard at GPAC News Geelong.
Thank you, Takia. The festival showcases the talents of hard-working students and teachers in our local primary schools, so well done. After receiving a grant from federal government earlier this year, the Geelong Ocean Road Coast Committee has now appointed a 3-member conservation team. This team has been appointed for 3 years and will be dedicated to caring for the native flora and fauna with the help of volunteers. Debbie Meaney spoke with the CEO, Richard Davies.
The Great Ocean Road Coast Committee has a new 3-member conservation team with the important task of caring for native plants and animals along the coast. I have the CEO, Richard Davies, with me to tell us more about the team.
Debbie, the focus is managing weed control along the 37 k's of coastline we look after by the committee. Weed control is seen as the biggest single threat to biodiversity along the Great Ocean Road coastline. So the project is to bring a lot of that noxious weed growth under control over the next 2 to 3 years.
And it also involves the wildlife as well?
It does, yes. Wildlife, or part of the process, is to eradicate large areas of noxious weeds, which help promote the growth of not only native flora but also native fauna.
And you're working collaboratively with volunteer groups?
Yes, we are. Volunteers are a really important part of resources that work right along the coast in specific areas, so we're working closely with them with our planning team as well as our own conservation team.
And the funding for the project?
The funding is a combination of our own funds plus a large grant from the federal government, which was received early this year.
And is the team planned to be a long-term project?
Yes, the team has been appointed for a 3-year period, and they'll be working full-time on this project over that time.
This is Debbie Meaney in Torquay for News Geelong.
Thank you, Debbie. This is News Geelong here on Channel 31, Analogue and Digital 44, as we go to a break and return with more news after this.